Most traders believe their biggest problem is finding the right strategy, so they spend months searching. One week it's price action, next week it's indicators, then it's a new mentor, a new YouTube channel, a new secret strategy that promises better entries. At first, it feels like progress, but in reality, this constant switching is one of the biggest reasons traders never become consistent. If you've been trading for a while and suddenly realized you've tried 10, maybe even 15 different strategies, you're not alone. Almost every trader goes through this phase. I went through it. People in my community went through it. Even my mentor admitted he did the exact same thing when he started. And here's the crazy part. When you're switching strategies, it actually feels logical. You convince yourself, maybe this next strategy will finally work. Maybe this indicator will give clearer signals. Maybe this educator actually knows the real secrets. But the truth is something most traders don't want to hear. You're not switching strategies because they don't work. You're switching because trading makes you uncomfortable. The strategy isn't the real issue. Your psychology is. I remember a trader in my community. Let's call him Marcus. Smart guy, very motivated, really wanted to succeed. But when he joined, he had already experimented with almost every method you can imagine: price action, support and resistance, moving averages, reversal strategies, indicator systems, even some advanced concepts he found online. Every time he discovered something new, he'd say the same thing: "I think this is the one." But 2 weeks later, the message would change: "I don't think this works in the current market." Or, "I found something more accurate." The confidence was always there, but the consistency never was. And one day, I told him something very simple. You don't need another strategy, you need to master one strategy. The problem was that he kept leaving before mastery could happen. And if you're constantly switching strategies, there's a good chance you're doing the same thing. Because here's the reality of trading. Every strategy has losing trades. Every strategy has drawdowns. Every strategy has bad weeks. But when you're new, those moments feel like proof that the system is broken, when in reality, you're just experiencing something every trader goes through. I remember going through this myself. Early in my trading journey, I would lose 2 trades in a row and immediately panic. Suddenly, I'd start questioning everything. Maybe this system doesn't work anymore. Maybe the market changed. Maybe I need a different method. So I'd go searching for a brand new strategy that made me feel safe again. Looking back, it was almost like an addiction. Not an addiction to winning, but an addiction to escaping discomfort. One day, my mentor asked me a question that completely changed the way I saw trading. He said, "Why do you believe the next strategy will fix your emotions? Your emotions follow you no matter what strategy you use." That sentence hit me hard, because he was right. I wasn't looking for a strategy, I was looking for certainty. But certainty doesn't exist in trading. Losses are part of the game, uncertainty is part of the game, and no strategy can remove those things. Another trader I worked with struggled with this for almost an entire year. She was obsessed with finding the perfect entry. Her definition of perfect? A strategy that almost never loses. So anytime she had a couple losing trades in a week, panic would kick in. She'd start searching again. I need something that gets fewer fakeouts. I need a higher win rate strategy. I need better confirmation. But the real issue wasn't her strategy, it was her expectation of what trading should look like. Eventually, she found a system that looked amazing during backtesting. Over 60% win rate, strong returns. She was convinced she had finally found the solution. Then she traded it live. Day 1, loss. Day 2, another loss. Day 3, she skipped a good setup because she was afraid. Day 4, she hesitated and entered late. Day 5, she quit the strategy completely. 5 days, that's all it took. And that's when I told her something she never forgot. You don't need another strategy, you're searching for emotional certainty. And unfortunately, that doesn't exist in trading. Here's something my mentor once told me that every trader needs to understand. You don't rise to the level of your strategy, you fall to the level of your emotional discipline. Think about that. Most traders believe better strategies create better traders, but in reality, better discipline creates better traders. Another trader I knew was incredibly talented at reading charts. He could analyze price action better than most people online, but he had one major weakness: patience. He would learn a strategy, trade it for a couple of days, take one loss, and immediately start researching something new. One day, he said something interesting: "I just haven't found a strategy that fits my personality." And I told him, it's not that the strategy doesn't fit you, it's that you haven't stayed with it long enough. Because the truth is, every strategy feels confusing at first. Every system feels inconsistent at the beginning. Mastery only comes after repetition, and repetition only happens when you stop switching. Strategy hopping keeps you stuck in beginner mode. Every time you switch, you reset your progress back to zero. You never collect enough data. You never gain deep understanding. You never build trust in your system. Imagine trying to build trust with someone after knowing them for a few days. It wouldn't work. Trust takes time. Trading is the same. You can't judge a strategy after 10 trades. Even a coin flip can produce strange results in 10 tries. That doesn't mean the coin is broken, it just means the sample size is too small. Many traders don't truly understand a strategy until they've tracked 50, maybe even 100 trades. That's when patterns start becoming clear. That's when confidence starts forming. Clarity doesn't come from constant searching, it comes from commitment. There's also another reason traders switch strategies that most people don't talk about: boredom. Some traders don't quit a strategy because it's losing. They quit because it's too slow. They want excitement. They want constant action. But the market doesn't reward excitement. It rewards patience. The traders who succeed are often the ones who are comfortable waiting for the right setup, waiting for the right moment, waiting without feeling the need to be constantly in a trade. Social media also makes this problem worse. You see someone post a massive winning trade, huge profits, perfect entry, and suddenly you start doubting your own strategy. You start thinking, maybe I'm using the wrong approach. Maybe they know something I don't. But what you're seeing is only the highlight. You don't see the losses. You don't see the emotional struggles. You don't see the years it took them to reach that point. Comparing your journey to someone else's highlight reel is one of the fastest ways to destroy your confidence. My mentor once gave me an analogy that perfectly explains this problem. He said, strategy switching is like planting a seed. You water it for a few days, then you dig it up because it hasn't grown yet. So you plant another seed somewhere else, and then another, and then another. Eventually, you end up with a garden full of holes, but nothing ever grows, because growth requires patience, and trading mastery works exactly the same way. If you want to stop switching strategies, 3 things are required. First, acceptance. You must accept that losses are part of trading. No strategy eliminates them. Second, discipline. You must stick with your plan long enough to truly understand it. And third, commitment. Real commitment. Not 1 week, not a handful of trades, but long enough to gather real data and build real experience. Because the moment you stop running from strategy to strategy, something interesting happens. Your mind becomes clearer. Your decisions become calmer. You stop reacting emotionally. You start trusting your process. And that's when trading finally begins to feel manageable. So if you've been jumping from strategy to strategy, searching for the perfect system, hoping the next method will finally solve everything, remember this: you don't need the perfect strategy, you need to become the kind of trader who can execute one strategy consistently. And when that happens, trading stops feeling like chaos and starts feeling like something you can truly master.